Morning photographers. So I'm at Durdle Door in Dorset and trying to get a picture of Durdle Door at sunrise. So I've set up in this position because I want the nice kind of curve of the bay there, creating a leading line up to Durdle Door itself. And I've got my horizon line kind of in the middle of the shot, with Durdle Door in the centre vertically. And I just need that sun to kind of come out from behind, really. I don't know if we're in quite the right position at the moment. Maybe the time of year the sun's not going to come up. I'm hoping that it does come up above and makes a nice pinky orange sky, but if not, I'm probably going to have to try coming back and taking it from a different angle. But we'll see, there's still time yet, I think. So to smooth the water out, I'm using an ND filter. Basically that just slows your shutter speed down. It's like sunglasses basically for your camera. And you get different stops. This one's a 6-stop, it's a Marumi. It's not particularly expensive, but it does the job. And it just allows me to have a longer exposure so that I can really just smooth that water out. Okay, then we're coming to the end of golden hour now. I didn't really get the sky that I wanted. I wanted some kind of like pinks and oranges in the sky as the sun was coming up. And yeah, I've been here an hour now and didn't really get that. I've got some nice shots of the water nice and smoothed out. I've been using my 6-stop ND filter, so that means it's slowing my shutter down and getting that really nice smoothed out water with the long exposures. And they look nice. It's just, yeah, just didn't get that sky, so I don't know if that's because at the time of the year where the angle of the sun and where it's rising, it just didn't quite come through. But yeah, I'm going to come back. I might try a different angle, maybe from on top of the cliffs. I'll maybe just try some different shots, some different things, so the cliffs in the other direction, and just see what I can get. So yeah, it's a work in progress. So it's 4 days later now, and I'm walking back down to Durdle Door. In the days in between, it's been quite cloudy. The weather hasn't been good for photography, so it's given me plenty of time to think about what wasn't successful the other day and how I can be more successful now. So you may have noticed that I'm not here at sunrise now, I'm here at sunset. And that's because when I was here at sunrise, even though I checked on photopills where the sunrise was coming from, which direction it was coming from, I'd failed to account for the big cliffs at the side that were kind of casting a big shadow over Durdle Door, so Durdle Door itself was in shadow. So I've decided to come at sunset this time, and I'm setting up on this side rather than down the beach, and that way I'm shooting straight into the sun and still catching Durdle Door on the left hand side. So I am just going to get some from this side of Durdle Door because the light's quite nice. The sunset is going down over there. And right now it's casting some really nice light over here, so just getting some from this side with the light shining onto Durdle Door itself. Okay, so after 3 days of not very good weather, cloud and rain, finally got some good weather today, and even today it was kind of midday, it was cloudy and stuff, but it broke at the right time just before sunset, and there's still a bit of cloud in the sky, but that's quite nice because the sunset caught the clouds, and there was really nice yellows and oranges in those clouds. And I'm glad I came back at sunset, because when I came the other day I was at sunrise, the sun was rising over that direction, but the cliffs actually cause a shadow over Durdle Door itself at this time of year, and so that means that none of the good golden hour sunlight is actually, cast on Durdle Door itself because it's in shade. So coming back at sunset today meant that I could shoot directly into the sun as the sun was going down, and that gave me the really nice colours in the sky and over the water. So I'm really glad I came back for that. And yeah, I've got another week of holiday now, but I can't wait just to get back and get the images in Lightroom, because I think I've got some good shots and I think they'll come out quite good. It was my first time at Durdle Door, and I've got to say I really enjoyed it. It's a great place to take photos, a lovely place in general. My wife and I spent a day there after the filming, and we were swimming in the sea, and we had the beach pretty much to ourselves, and it was amazing weather for the UK at least. So yeah, brilliant. And it's a little bit of a cliche, I know. It's a very famous spot for photography, and I'm not really adding anything new with what I've done. So it was just something that was on my bucket list really, and something I just needed to tick off, and I've done that now. So as I mentioned in the footage earlier, some of my shots were more successful than others, and a lot of that was to do with the angle of the sun at this time of year. The sun wasn't coming up behind Durdle Door, and the angle that it was rising at was causing a big shadow over the archway, over the rock formation of Durdle Door. So it wasn't really ideal at sunrise, and that's why I came back at sunset. And this little animation explains a little bit better exactly how the light was rising and why it was a problem. So here we have an overhead map not too far from West Lulworth. The green is the land area, and then that gives way to the beaches, which are in the yellow sandy colour. The blue is obviously the water, and then Durdle Door itself is this little bit that sticks out here. That's the archway that you've seen in the photos already. And ideally it would be best to get a sunrise picture in December, because that's when the sun is rising from this direction, and you can set up on the beach getting Durdle Door as a silhouette with the sunrise in the background lighting up the sky with really nice colours. Of course, it wasn't December, it was September when I was there, and so the sunrise was actually coming from this direction. So I was set up on the beach here, and this was my angle of view towards the archway stack of Durdle Door. But the problem with taking a shot at sunrise at this time of year is that the cliffs are actually casting a shadow over Durdle Door itself like this. So not only was I not able to get the sunrise in the background behind Durdle Door, but I also didn't have any really good golden hour light on Durdle Door itself. So I did get some decent shots that morning at sunrise, but I decided I wanted to come back at a sunset time. And that meant that the sun was setting from this direction, and I could set up over here, looking out with Durdle Door on the left and the sunset in the background behind. So let's have a look at the photos I got. This is from the first morning at sunrise. I think it's the very first photo I took actually. So it was just leaving the blue hour, going into golden hour around about 6:30 in the morning. And yeah, I like the composition. I like how the line of the water, the edge of the beach kind of creates a leading line, brings your eye right into the picture up to the rock formation and Durdle Door itself. It's a slightly slow exposure, about 4 seconds, and it's just smoothed out the water a bit, which was already pretty flat to be honest. There wasn't much wind, and it's just giving it a really kind of peaceful feel. It feels really calm. I like that about it. And there's a little bit of glow in the sky, not very much, but a little bit. So yeah, I like the composition, and I like the overall feel of this one. This is a very similar one, just a slightly tighter crop. Not really much more to say about this, same comments as the last one really, but yeah, just thought I'd experiment with a tighter crop. When I realised that I wasn't going to get any sunlight on Durdle Door, I moved back a bit down the beach so that I could see the sun above the kind of cliff tops. And when I did that, I realised that there was some really nice kind of light and shadow in the sand, in these patterns in the sand. So I got down really low to take a shot of that Durdle Door in the background. What I wish I'd have done is take a focus stack of this one, because I've got the sand in focus there, which is nice, but then Durdle Door itself is a little bit soft in the background. So I think that could have been just a little bit nicer if it was in focus as well. But I do like this shot. It's a little bit, it's just the light on the sand I think that makes it interesting, gives it that foreground detail. So this one was taken much later when the sun was really coming up now, so after golden hour really. And I'd walked back up to the top of the cliff. I thought I'd just get one looking down. There's a bit of light on Durdle Door now because it's coming up over that cliff and it's not causing as much shadow. I like the colour of the water in this one. The sky's not so great, it's pretty bland, but I do like this angle, so it's something to think about if I ever go back, taking one from the cliff top. So this is obviously not Durdle Door, but it was just the other side of Durdle Door, so because the sun was coming up over here, I thought I'd just take one this direction, and yeah, I quite like this one. It's obviously got the glare from the sun, which is not great, but I like how the composition kind of starts on that right hand side, and it kind of curls around, it does a kind of a spiral all along the bottom, up the left hand side, and then that cliff just takes it into the middle of the shot, so it's like a little spiral going into the middle, and then you've got the sun kind of in the middle of the composition. So I do like the composition of this one. It'd look great if it was maybe a bit earlier as the sun was just coming up and you've got those kind of oranges and yellows in the sky, but you know, I was down at Durdle Door at that point, so you can't be in two places at once, but I know for next time. So we're moving into sunset now, and as I said, I set up on the left hand side of the beach, so you've got Durdle Door there just on the left. It's just the start of golden hour, this one, and it was a little bit more tricky to take this one because there were a lot more people around at sunset, so I've had to do a little bit of photoshopping to remove those. And it was also just more difficult to take the shot because with COVID and things, having to keep social distancing in mind, it just made the whole shot a bit more difficult to take. But I do like the light. The composition I think could be better because now the focus, Durdle Door, is just kind of sidelined a bit to the left, and then you know you've got the beach curling round on the right to the cliffs up in the top right. But the centre has just got the big mass of water and there's not really much there, so you've got a kind of empty area in the composition. So that's not great, and also I'm not happy that I can't see through Durdle Door. I think in the next shots I move over to the right a little bit, and I wish I'd have done that on this one so that you can actually see through the archway. And also the horizon in all the following shots, it looks like it's wonky, but it's not. I think that's an optical illusion. If I just put this line on screen, you can see that's perfectly straight there, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what's causing that. I think there's some cliffs in the very far distance just above the horizon line which are kind of blending into the water and making it look like the water level's higher. I think that's part of the problem. So I did try rotating it to level it, to make it look level, even though it wouldn't have been level, and that just looked wrong as well, so I left it how it was, but yeah, I think there's a slight optical illusion there. So the sun's starting to go down a bit more now, getting closer to sunset, and I adjusted the colours accordingly for this one. They weren't quite as pink as this in real life, but it was just starting to get that feeling, you know, where the sun's going down and starting to get that glow, and I just wanted that to bring out those pinks, so I emphasised those a little bit in the post-processing. I took this one with an ND filter, a 6-stop ND, just to start getting some blur in the waves in the water. And because I wanted a little bit extra and I didn't have another ND filter with me, I also put my polarizer on top of the ND filter, so that gave me another couple of stops. And the only problem with that is that, and I've never noticed this before, but it's made the whole image a little bit softer. I think that's just the quality of the filters. There's a kind of a cast over it that just made it a bit soft, and I think it's down to the filters. So maybe I need to invest in some better filters going forward. I quite like this one. It's there was a girl there she was actually posing for a photo for somebody else, but I thought I'd just borrow her. Hope she doesn't mind, because it just looks, it helped balance that composition a little bit. So like I said, the middle bit is still empty, which is not great, but it does kind of form this triangle now, and that helps because I've got this third point in the bottom right. It just helps to ground the composition just a little bit, and I like that. And I like the colours in the sky. I like how that cloud is really catching the sun, which has nearly gone down now. And finally we've got this one. This was a 30-second exposure, so really smooth that water out, giving it that ethereal look. And I like how it just looks like it's really kind of ghostly in a way. And I also like the light. The sun's just gone behind the cliffs now, and you've got it shining on those ferries in the distance, just little dots just highlighted by that light that's just going down. So yeah, still not happy with the composition, but you know, I do like the effect of the water and the overall colours of that one. So the conclusion is that I was happy with the composition but not the lighting at sunrise. And then the opposite is true for sunset. I was happy with the lighting was great, but I could have paid more attention to the composition. And it's strange to say this, but I'm not that happy with the shots overall, even though a year ago I would have been delighted with these shots. But I think that's a good thing, because you know, I think that shows I'm improving and wanting to get better. But I'm interested what you think. Leave some comments below. Which ones do you prefer, or where do you think I could have improved? So yeah, overall, kind of happy. I really enjoyed the day, the 2 days there, taking shots. And I'm kind of happy with the shots, but also kind of not, and I think I can do better next time. And that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel and you've liked what you've seen, want to see more, then consider subscribing by clicking here or down here. And yeah, that's it, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.